Gen V is back with the first 3 episodes of Season 2, and in only that short amount of time, we've already got more mysteries than I could have possibly imagined before going into it. There's the hidden history and powers of new Dean Cipher, the secrets behind Project Odessa, which we got a glimpse of in the first episode, and also the unknown whereabouts of Annebeth. Well, there was a ton that happened in these first 3 episodes, and in this video I'm going to be going through all of it and explaining the important details. So let's get into it. Here is Gen V Season 2, Episodes 1, 2 and 3, Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Marie. So one thing that I feel could well end up happening in this season of the show, based on the first 3 episodes, is that Dean Cipher is going to get his claws into Marie, manipulate her, and get her to split from the likes of Jordan and Emma. This is because not only was there history between the both of them, with the fact that he was there inside of the clinic where Marie was born, as we found out that she was born inside of Godolkin University, but also because she was a part of Project Odessa. Something that the university were looking to start up again when it seemed like it was originally started in 1967 by the likes of none other than Thomas Godolkin. Right now, Marie was the only surviving baby that was considered part of Project Odessa, so there's even more importance that's been placed upon her. There were signs of this extra importance when Cipher kept her behind after the hero optimization seminar class, and he was telling her how she had the capability of being an extremely strong supe and something magnificent. When this was said, Cate was looking on from around the corner, and with her powers and abilities not being what they once were, and with the doctors telling her that she needed to stop using them for a while, there's definitely going to be an inferiority complex within her, especially in needing to see the people who wanted her dead walking around in her day-to-day life. Whilst Marie is back at Godolkin University after being on the run following her escaping the Elmira facility, she only has one priority, and that's to be reunited with her sister, Annebeth. Not to fulfill the Project Odessa destruction like Starlight wanted her to do in her short cameo appearance. With Marie speaking with her Aunt Pam, there were signs of Annebeth once living there, but since then she hadn't been seen for a while. I'm wondering if this is something that could be connected to Cipher's vault that he has within his home. Could Annebeth be in there? And with there being such importance placed on Marie from the moment that the season opened, with him tasking Cate to find her, it makes me think that she could potentially be in there, and that way Marie would do what he wants if she knew that he had the person that she cared the most about in the world. The fact that Marie is dressed in a lot darker clothing compared to Season 1 really makes me think that we're about to see a darker side to the character. In fact, we've already seen a pretty dark side to her with her walking away from Cate when she was lying on the floor and on the cusp of death. She was prepared to leave her for dead, which is something that she never would have done in the previous season. It also seems like Marie is going to have a love arc which develops throughout this season with Jordan. During the first 3 episodes, Jordan and Marie were intimate with one another after repairing their relationship following Marie breaking out of the facility and leaving them all behind. Jordan felt like it was easier to be mad at Marie than it was to be afraid of losing her, because that was a threat that all of them faced, and that way it would make it easier if something did happen to her because there'd be no emotions there. However, on Marie's side, she openly admitted that she loved Jordan. I'd also say that within Marie's story in these first 3 episodes, it tied back to the fact that she never chose to be a supe, and that she didn't actively kill her parents like Pam made it out like. There was a focus on how she was just a young girl that was confused, and in that moment, the Compound V took over and caused the chaos to unfold. Like she said, if anything, it was her parents' fault, so I imagine that the complex of accountability or not will be explored maybe when she comes face to face with her sister. Cate. Now, like Marie, it very much feels like Cate is going to be the person that Marie is up against in this season of the show. Whether it comes to different moral beliefs, the attention of Cipher, and also the attention of the students at Godolkin University, Cate had basically been working as Homelander's assistant in carrying out torture on people in order to get information about Starlight, which is what she slipped up and said when she was speaking with Marie. But what we also saw as well was that she was being manipulated by Cipher into doing exactly what he wanted her to do, which was initially to go and find Marie. Cate initially showed no remorse for the atrocities that she carried out, and also the fact that Andre was killed when he tried to escape. She was hurt that he died, but she didn't feel the weight of it, unlike the likes of Sam. It was when she saw Marie and she overheard that she'd spoken with Starlight and told her about Odessa, where she tried to force Marie to tell Vault. Otherwise, she thought that she'd get harmed, but in doing so, Jordan got involved, fought her, and she ended up in a coma. When she awoke, she had a memory of what happened, but Starlighters were blamed with the attack in order to strengthen the image of Homelander's following and Supe's superiority. However, she was unable to use her powers moving forward. Like Marie, she also seems to have adopted a dark side to her personality, and it feels like she doesn't feel like her true self anymore. She has this prosthetic arm, and now a large wound on her head, and when she looked in the mirror, it seemed like she didn't recognize the person that she'd become. It was only at the end of the episode when she spoke with Sam that she said that they did some horrible things and she actually acknowledged it. Her not having her powers is something that's going to be a complex for her because, as Cipher said to her, if she can't get her powers back, then it means she's no better than a human, and then that would pretty much make her useless. So I'm presuming we're going to be seeing her looking to get revenge, the attention of Cipher, and also her powers back. Emma is in a state of mourning at the moment over Andre, and it's mainly due to the influence that he had on her in making her see the true hero that she could be, and wanting to get revenge for his death in the name of him. Cipher explained that Andre was killed because he had the same condition as his father, where the more he used his powers, the weaker he got. And when he collapsed, he himself knew that it was going to happen, but he fought through it because that was the type of person he was, a hero. He wanted to save his friends. That's why Emma was so willing to walk away from Cate and also leave her for dead, because she blamed her and Sam for what happened to him, because they took the side of Godolkin rather than looking to get them out of there a long time ago. Once Emma had moved from her state of grief and managed to get her powers under control just a little bit more, we saw that she was working with Andre's father, Polarity, to find out information on Cipher, Project Odessa, and the best way possible to take down the university and expose the staff. When she was with Polarity, we saw that within Godolkin's archive there was a secret chamber which led to a far-right extremist chamber where it showed a side to Thomas Godolkin that seems to have been buried deep, but I imagine will most likely start to get exposed as time goes on. They were celebrating Godolkin Day, so he's a celebrated individual, so if his reputation gets tarnished, then I imagine a lot of the university will too. Emma is a Starlighter, and at the end of the episode, she found out that Harper was a secret Starlighter too, despite her online personality saying different, and she was the person that was putting up the poster in the coffee shop that was causing the human server lots of trouble. Harper's abilities actually turned out to be pretty cool as she was able to mimic any Supe's powers for 60 seconds, so she became a whole lot more interesting. We didn't see what Emma had planned to cause trouble, but with her telling Harper to mess things up rather than just spray paint, I imagine it's going to cause even more chaos during Godolkin Day. Jordan. Like Marie and Emma, Jordan was mourning Andre and the impact that he had on them. Jordan became the #1 ranked supe during these first 3 episodes, and after admitting themselves that they were in love with Marie after initially being spooked by it, they got on stage and it seemed like they'd sold their souls to Godolkin in order to stay popular. However, after realizing that they were essentially acting like a puppet, they came out and said how the people that were accused of attacking Cate were innocent Starlighters, and they were blamed to rile up hate for the group. And then following that, they themselves went on to say that they were responsible for the attack on Cate. They didn't implicate anybody else, showing again the love that they had for Marie. I did question why they did this, but I think it tied back into the whole idea of what Andre would have done in that situation. There was a lot of focus on Andre being a hero and pretty much giving his all in order to save the group, so by just going against what their true beliefs were, it almost defaced his memory and his legacy, so Jordan was fully prepared to face the repercussions that were going to be headed their way. Sam. Even though Sam probably got the least amount of screen time out of the Guardians, I found his one the most interesting. He was actually really struggling to look past everything that he did when it came to the slaughtering of all of those students that were at Godolkin, and also the participation in the torture and work that Homelander and Vought were tasking them to do. He was relying on Cate to essentially lobotomize him, numb his mind, and in turn forget about all of the pain and responsibility that he had. However, with Cate's injury, we saw that he started to struggle because that numbing wore off and he was needing to face it head on, something that he wasn't able to do. He mentioned his mother and how he missed home and also how he still spoke to his brother within his mind, but he said how he couldn't go home because his mother was afraid of him. And with everything that he did, it seems like there's a justifiable reason for that, so I wonder if we're going to start to see a slightly calmer Sam. Emma mentioned to Sam about everything that he did on that fateful day and how he was partially responsible for the death of Andre. And with there being a personal connection there, it feels like that's something that's going to be explored more in the pain that he's feeling. Who is Dean Cipher? Dean Cipher is one of the newest characters in the show, and within the first 3 episodes, we saw that he was the Dean. He was a scientist that was present at the facility that Marie and co were at, and he was also known as Dr. Gold many years ago when Marie was born inside Godolkin as part of Project Odessa. Dean Cipher's powers are unknown, and the sharp bluntness and confidence that he has is something that makes him such an interesting character. He's clearly got an interest in Marie, and he works closely with Homelander, as was mentioned when he spoke with Cate. He's part of supe supremacy, as he seems to advocate in fighting against the humans and in wanting them to truly know that the students aren't just students, they're soldiers. As he believes that with the humans outnumbering the supes 10 million to 1, if the humans got their act together, they could eliminate them. When it comes to his powers, we have no idea what they actually are. He seems to be all-knowing, and he mentioned himself how he's always aware of everything that's going on. So I feel like he definitely has an arsenal of powers that he can utilize. I quite like this Dean. There's a confidence and a charm with him, but there's also an arrogance and the understanding of just how powerful he is. So I'm looking forward to eventually finding out what his powers are. His motive for now, though, seems to be about making Marie as strong as she can possibly be. And I'm presuming it's because she has the potential to be one of the most powerful supes. It makes me think that Project Odessa could be some enhanced formula of Compound V that was given to a select group of individuals. My review of the episodes. I thought the first 3 episodes returned with full force and showed why this show is so good. Not only was the new story gripping and well fleshed out, but there were deeper layers to it which showed that the characters had progressed forward and they had their own individual battles that they were dealing with, along with the wider plot too. When it came to incorporating the death of the actor Chance Perdomo, who played Andre, into the show, I thought it was handled with respect, and by recognizing how he was a hero for the likes of Marie, Emma and Jordan into the story, it allowed his character to have a legacy within the show. Based on these 3 episodes, I feel I quite like the darker tone that they're taking. Not that the first season wasn't dark, but in leaving Cate dying on the floor, that was something that did surprise me, and it established the tone well. As per usual, it wouldn't be a show that's associated with the boys if it didn't have crude humour and visuals that made you actually question what you were watching, and we got exactly that. If I'm being honest, the episodes absolutely flew by, and with there only being 8 episodes, next week we're halfway through the season. So that's why I'm always a bit gutted when 3 episodes come out in the first week, because it ends up feeling like we wait ages and then the show is over pretty quickly. However, what I will say is that even though it's been a couple of years, it doesn't feel like we've truly been away, so the show did a good job at re-immersing us. My favourite characters so far are probably Marie and also Cipher. The intrigue around who he is, what he's up to, and what his powers are is the most fascinating thing for me. His manipulation ability is something that also intrigues me, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. Well, first 3 down, 5 to go. I'll see you next week for the episode 4 breakdown. So, there you have it, Gen V Season 2 Episodes 1, 2 and 3 ending explained.